friends, today we're going to make an upside down cake. Have you ever had an upside down cake? It's really delicious. And at kindergarten we make this in honor of the letter U because it's kind of fun. So I'm following a very easy recipe that is fun for kids to do. There's a lot of things that kids can do to help make this, and I think that you'll find it's very delicious. So the first step in the pineapple upside down cake is it says to take 1/4 of a cup of butter, which is half of a stick of butter, and you put that in your pan. And it tells you to use a 9 by 13 inch pan, which I have here. If you want to be a good math student, you can measure it just to make sure. But that's the size that we need. So we have to melt the butter in the pan, and it says to do that in the oven. So I preheated my oven to 350 degrees. So I'm going to go ahead and put this pan in the oven. It's not quite preheated all the way yet, but that way the butter can start melting, and we can mix up our cake mix that's going to go along with this. So we'll put this in the oven. So that's in the oven melting, and the next thing we have to do is mix our cake mix. Now I have a Betty Crocker, like a yellow cake mix like this, just a golden yellow cake mix. I think pretty much any yellow cake mix would do. And we're gonna follow the directions almost exactly like it says on the package. It calls for 1 cup of water, but we're gonna use something else instead of water. It's a little secret. I gotta cut this because I know that I can't tear it. You can cut it with scissors. I'm not being so safe because I just kind of ripped it with a knife. And I'm gonna pour the cake mix in my bowl. I have a bowl here ready to go. It also calls for 3 eggs, and I'm just gonna mix all these ingredients in here. Now I'm following the recipe that was on the back of the box of cake mix, except for where it calls for water. So I have my 3 eggs, I have 1/3 of a stick of butter, which is supposed to be softened to room temperature. I'm going to check it in a minute and see if it's softened. If it's not, I'll put it in the microwave for a little bit. The other thing that makes the upside down cake look so pretty is pineapple rings that you can get in a can. And I bought these that have juice. They're in juice, not like heavy syrup, so it's a little bit less sugar. And we're gonna open this. It's in the juice, the pineapple juice. That's what we're gonna use in the cake mix instead of the water, because that gives it a really good flavor. So I have a measuring cup because it called for 1 cup of water, and we're gonna see how much juice we can get out of this can of the pineapples, because it probably won't make quite a cup, exactly a cup. It's gonna be pretty close though. So I'm just gonna top this off with water to fill it up to the 1 cup line, and we'll add that to our cake mix. So I'm gonna do that now, and I'm gonna put my butter in the microwave to soften it so it'll be ready. And we're gonna check the butter that's melting in the oven. So hold on and we'll be right back. Okay, so we did a speedy little mix the cake up. So I have my batter here to the side. Our butter is melted from the oven. It's right here. It's nice and hot. So this is the part you have to be really, really careful with. The next trick to the upside down cake is to use brown sugar. And our recipe calls for 1 cup of brown sugar. So I have a measuring cup here. I like this one because it's a scoop. And I'm just gonna scoop it out, and you pour it on top of the melted butter and kind of let it soak in. If you go a little less than a full cup, that's probably okay, because this is kind of a sweet cake, but it's really good. So I'm gonna carefully dump that all over the melted butter in our pan. And then I'm gonna use a fork that I have here to mix it up so it's kind of even. And you may hear my cat meowing in the background because the kitty wants to help, I think. So I apologize for that. But I'm just mixing this up so the brown sugar kind of covers the pan, the bottom of the pan, so it's not just like a glob of butter in one place. Spread, spread, spread. Try to get the butter. Might even mix a little bit of that up so that it melts really good in there. And you see how the brown sugar, once it gets in the butter, it turns a little bit more liquidy. So I might have to mix this up a little bit more. But this is kind of the fun part. It just smells really good. I think brown sugar smells like, I don't know, it smells kind of like molasses, I guess. But just pat it down so that you have the brown sugar kind of covering the bottom. And then comes the fun part. The other thing that goes in the upside down cake is the pineapple. Because once the cake is done and you turn it upside down, it looks really pretty. Very fancy. Because the pineapple rings and we put cherries in it. It's very delicious. Alright, so that's done. It's mostly covered a little bit, but it'll cook all together. So then I take my pineapple rings that I've dumped the juice out of, with the juice went into the cake, and I'm just going to line these up along the bottom, on top of the brown sugar on the bottom part of the pan. And remember, we have not added the cake mix yet. I don't think I can fit 4 in a row. So I'm probably going to slide this one down and leave a little space, because I did read another little trick. But if you really like the cherries, you can add extra cherries in here. I haven't always done that in the past. And I have some extra pineapple left over that I can just eat because it's delicious and good for you. And now we get to add the cherries. Do you like cherries? They're kind of fun. So I'm going to open it up. I'm not going to pour the juice in. I'm going to use my fork and be kind of careful. Maybe you want a spoon. And you put these cherries right in the middle of the pineapple ring. So it looks kind of like, I don't know, it just looks fancy to me. So 1 cherry in the middle. And then because I like cherries, I'm going to add some more cherries around the outside to make it look even prettier. So we'll get 6 cherries in the middle since we have 6 pineapple slices. Right there. And then, oops, that one's trying to get away. Okay, and then we're going to do this cherry here. I'm going to put a cherry here. Whoop. Plop. I'm trying not to spill the juice, so I don't want to make a mess. Doop. I'll put another cherry there. I think the cherries make it kind of tasty. I'm making this cake, and I think I'm going to take it to my sister as a surprise and see if I can get her and her family to give it a try. This was a cake that my dad liked to make for us. Made it kind of special because it's like a special memory that I have with my dad, that he kind of taught us about upside down cake. He really liked his sweets. So now I think I have enough cherries, and the cherries are in the pineapple. Now we're ready for the cake mix. So I need a spatula to kind of help spread it out. So I'm going to grab a spatula. That was the one tool that I forgot. So count to 3 and see if I'll be back. Did I make it before you got to 3? I was kind of slow there, I'm sorry. I was kind of stuck in my junk drawer with all my utensils. They get kind of twisted up in there. So then I'm just going to pour this cake batter that has the pineapple juice and the eggs and the butter. I'm just going to kind of pour it on top. And then I'm going to spread it out so it covers up my pineapple and my cherries. So it looks like you have a special surprise underneath that you can't see. We're going to hide the cherries and the pineapples. Cover that cherry up. That wants to stay up there. And he's like, wait, let me out. That was kind of a big cherry. All right, I'm covering it all up. Here we go. That one's still poking out, but that's okay. That just lets you know, it's like a hint at what's inside of this cake. It's gonna be so delicious. The next step is we have to put it in the oven, and we have to cook it. I have to check the recipe again. And for that, I need my glasses. It says we have to cook it for 42 to 48 minutes. So I always put it in at the lowest time and then check it, because I can always cook it a little bit longer, but I can't cook it less if I overdo it. So we're gonna put this in the oven and set the timer for 42 minutes, and then we'll come back and check it, okay? So I can't wait to hear how yours turns out, and then you'll get to see the finished product. Hi friends, guess what? The timer just went off and we get to take our cake out of the oven. It's really hot, so this might be a job for a grown-up. Alright, I put it on a little hot pad because it's super hot. And then make sure you turn off your oven. We don't want any problems, but if you look at it, it looks just like a cake on the top, but ooh la la, look at the bottom. So pretty. Alright, so the nice thing about, the fun thing about this cake is when we turn it upside down and we see how beautiful it is. So I have this really big cutting board or tray. If you have a tray, you can use that. And I'm gonna set it right on top. And we're gonna cross our fingers and everybody's gonna say, please let it work. Hocus pocus, abracadabra. I'm gonna turn it over and we're gonna see if it comes out and looks beautiful. Let's see now. It looks like it all came loose from the pan, and very carefully I'm gonna take it off of there. Woo, see that smoke? Definitely let a grown-up do that part. Now, my dog is so excited. Can you hear? I'm gonna put this over here where the hotness of it. Oh, but look what happened. I just noticed one pineapple stayed put. So I'm not gonna lose that delicious pineapple. I'm just gonna use a fork and kind of pry it out. But again, I'm being really careful because it's hot. Okay, hold one side, use my fork. Oh, it's so sugary and sweet. No, you would never know that that didn't come out. So now I'm going to move this over and put it out of the way so it can cool off. And we have a beautiful upside down cake. I hope that you enjoy it. Thanks for cooking with me.